I went immediately after the storms hit. As soon as the airports opened, I was on one of the first flights down there, and it was pretty bad. I mean, trees were still in the streets. Power poles were broken in half. They were, all of the power lines were in the street. People were kind of trying to just drive through them, which was very dangerous at the time. Folks didn't have roofs on their homes. There was some flooding. It was pretty devastating. A lot of destruction. Kind of hard to move around, being that there were curfews as well, because there was the street lights weren't working, so driving in the nighttime, extremely dangerous with all of the damage and debris. So it was kind of hard to get some things done, but while I was there, I was able to meet with some folks, chat about my idea and see which direction we need to go to kind of get things going and who could help, really. I'm from the Virgin Islands, and so I was in tune with what was going on down there. My mother's down there, the rest of my family, so I knew that things were pretty bad, and I wanted to help out in any way that I could. So I figured, how can we help in the best possible way? And apparently, the biggest need that people had was for generators. They were going a long period of time without electricity, and if you've ever been without power for a couple of days, it's pretty frustrating. Well, when you're going months and months without electricity, it's very tough to live a normal life. So I wanted to find a way that we could get some generators down there and help out. Folks were extremely happy. I mean, my mother got electricity on Christmas Day, so she had gone months without electricity. Now, we did have a generator, but the generator can only power certain things in the home. It's not powering your entire home. So you're still going a significant amount of time without running water, without lights, and or without being able to refrigerate foods, or in some cases medications. So very tough living situation. So the folks who we were able to get generators to, we worked with Department of Health and Human Services, and I also worked with the St. Croix Foundation. We were able to find folks who had the most need. Families with a lot of kids. There was one family that we gave a generator to, 5 kids. They were living in a Winnebago because the home lost its roof, its windows, and they had no running water. So we were able to get a generator to them so they could at least have some water flowing. They did a lot of gardening, so they could at least start growing things. It's really hard. The time that I spent down there, when every day, to bathe, you have to use a bucket or go out in the rain. And that's just a small thing that we take for granted, but it's big when you're going about your day by day. The hope was that the islands, or the Virgin Islands, would be fully restored by Christmas time. I believe there was somewhere around 85% fully restored. So they did a great job, but there's still some places that are pretty remote in the rainforest on the north shore of the island of St. Croix that, they're hard to get to. So they'll go a little longer without electricity. But it was a long haul for them. A lot of linemen, one big thing down there is a lot of linemen came down there from all over the U.S. to help out. Some from New York State, and they did a great job. They were working very quickly, working 7 days a week, 16-hour days to make sure that people got their power restored. But I can tell you, it's a great feeling. I was down there on Christmas Day with my mother when the trucks came in and started putting the poles up in front of our home, and we had electricity by that evening. There are always ways to help. And for us, we see these storms on the news. We say, okay, a hurricane has hit. And then after a couple of weeks, no one's really talking about it. But there are folks right now who still don't have roofs on their homes, and they are in desperate need. So there always is a need for help after storms like these, and there's still work to be done. It's not over yet. So while we celebrate the little things that we can, there's still more work to be done. I had never done anything like this before, so I just asked as many questions as I could. The St. Croix Foundation was very helpful. They had helped with recovery efforts in the past during Hurricanes Hugo and some other hurricanes that had hit the territories. So I went straight to them. They said they could help me figure out a list of folks who really had the most need. And also working with the United Way of Tompkins County. They did a great job. They helped us facilitate this whole thing. They helped us raise the funds so that we can send it down there, so we can purchase the generators to get them sent to the St. Croix Foundation. So I would say the United Way of Tompkins County, the St. Croix Foundation, and Cornell. I mean, this all started here. The reason this was able to happen is because Cornell alums and students and parents and athletes and former athletes all decided that they wanted to help. And 20 generators may not seem like a big deal, but 20 families, their lives were helped out in very significant ways.